a judge, you take an oath. And by the way, to any common law people out there, or I should say free men under land, you do not need to insult a judge by asking them to repeat their oath, because they wouldn't be in the position, sitting in that chair, in a court of law, with the wigs and gowns that everyone says they don't like anymore. The reason why you should respect that is because it respects ancient usage and custom. And that's why, when they wear it, they're telling you they are respecting our ancient use and custom. They're sitting there under the oath system. They couldn't do the job unless they took the oath. Who else takes the oath? The monarch takes two. The Coronation Oath Act and the Accession Oath. The Privy Council takes a separate oath to a Member of Parliament. Most people don't know you don't have to be a Member of Parliament to be a Privy Councillor. The other thing that people need to be aware of, Member of Parliament takes an oath to protect your civil rights and liberties. But the most important oath of all, the most important oath of all, is the juror. 12 good men and true, in their own conscience, are the only people in the land that can nullify, in that instance, with that person indicted, the monarch's law, parliamentary law, and more importantly, the most powerful law in the land, the common law and customs. And what people don't understand is when that jury returns a verdict of not guilty, that verdict is unrepealable. Nobody can appeal it. It is the message from your peers that you are not guilty. What does that make you if you take oath and you are a juror and there's a group of people in your own conscience who, if you can nullify the monarch's law, parliamentary law, and, more importantly, common law, parliamentary law, monarch's law, if you can nullify that law, who is sovereign? We are. Right. So at the end of the day, they're trying to now, by abolishing juries, by removing it and creating what's known as an administrative system. They remove the juries. By removing juries, they remove your power to nullify all law in a specific instance. In other words, you can't cancel the law. One other thing that people need to understand, and especially about this event, when we stand together in unity, no matter your colour, no matter your religion, even though this is a Christian nation, people need to understand that's what they fear most. They fear us standing against them, as they did in 1819 when they charged them and cut them down. They fear the people rising. Now, one of the things about English law is called rebellion, and the second thing is called repugnant. Under English law, any law made by Parliament or the monarch, and even the common law, can be nullified when the people rise up in rebellion. The first instance, it should be passive, not violent. But in English law, we are told that you are the people that protect our future generations from tyranny. Now, what the government are currently doing is literally arresting people all over the country, processing them through an administrative law system and showing you that they are tyrannous towards the people. And we're the people that need to go around this country and educate people. That's what we're about, showing people that you have constitutional rights. We had such a strong constitution that we exported it to the United States of America. That the rights of Americans came from the English, not the British. The British are the ones destroying your rights. You go and have a look at these acts, you've got the Acts of Settlement, chapter 4. What does it say? It simply says that the rights of Englishmen are your birthright. The laws of England are your birthright. The Coronation Oath Act tells you the ancient usage and customs of this realm are yours to be protected by the monarchy. The Magna Carta, by the way, people, the Magna Carta of 1215 is a fraction of our constitutional heritage. A fraction. Before that, you had a Charter of Rights. You've got charters all over England. And the Magna Carta did not say that the City of London, carte blanche, is the main financial centre. Instead, what it said was that the same rights will be extended to every town and city of England. So each county and shire is independent and sovereign. Guess where that was transported to? The United States of America. The United Independent States of America. Who hijacked America? The British. When? 1860. They imposed the same British system that they had here, centralised in London, to the United States. By the way, they did the same with the USSR. And when people understand the history of what's gone on, finally, we're getting people understanding. The English Constitution is about happiness and health. What are they destroying? Everything. Happiness and health. All the way through. So what we need to understand is we can take it back, but we need you to do that. You are the people that do it. So we got a flag there. One other thing that I need to do, I don't know how long I've been talking for, but I will take any questions if they want. Can I have that flag there? So one of the things that we hand out in our August get-together is this plaque. The English Constitution Party, and this is for Patriot of the Year Award. So I'd like you all to give a big round of applause to Tracy Park, the Patriot of the World. There you go. That's the way we got your big check notes. I was going to eat you on the way. So again, for everyone who's here now, everyone who follows the channel on Rumble, we was obviously on YouTube, got banned a number of times. We was on Facebook and got banned a number of times. I was on Twitter and had my original account banned. I was on PayPal and had my account banned. And all we do is talk about the law. So if we're talking about the law, why is it that they keep doing what they're doing? And it's because they fear us. They have withheld our constitutional rights and tried to demolish that constitutional principle and the constitutional laws and the common law from the people. I'm going to finish with this and then hopefully take a question or two. But the main thing I'm going to say to you is remember that you are sovereign. The proof of that is the jury. And every time they say that they are going to abolish the jury system, they're telling you they're taking your future, children's, grandchildren's rights away. And the only people who can stand up against that is us. That we're the only people, and we need to do it all over the country. I will be talking at the Heritage Party conference in September, and I will also be talking at a number of other events. I'm on Sonia Poult on Monday, and I'm going to an event in something Lytham and St Anne's, whatever, yeah, that's it, I'll get it. I know it's only 40 minutes away from here now. It started raining. Anyone got any questions? So our channel is the Full English Show, which is on Rumble. Rumble is being attacked all of the time, and especially by the British. One other thing, so we've got the Full English Show on Rumble, been banned on YouTube a number of occasions, well in excess of 25,000 subscribers, 2,500 subscribers. and then again, and as soon as we put anything on there, they hit it. I also go live on Twitter, so you can get me at Graham H. Moore. So that is Graham, Graham, H. Moore, M-O-O-R-E, at, and then again it's on Twitter. So the main thing for everyone to remember now, and I know it's a bit cold and chilly, because we are in North, people need to understand there is an attack on freedom of expression. This monument is literally a monument to the people who died for our right to vote. And they were working class people, and they were unarmed, and they were slaughtered by the British. They weren't slaughtered by the English, the Welsh, the Scots, or the Irish. They were slaughtered by the British and the yeomanry of the time. And the British police have now taken the place of that yeomanry. Don't forget, people all over the world now, and especially England, are being attacked. People are being put in prison for nothing, basically. They're being attacked all over England, and the people responsible for that are the British and the British establishment and the British regime. Remember that the founder and programmer of Telegram was arrested yesterday in France, and it looks like he's looking at 20 years in prison. The French conned him into getting French citizenship, potentially the biggest mistake of his life, because he has now given up his Russian citizenship to do that. So they conned him, he then flew into France, was arrested, and he's now been told you face 20 years in prison unless you give us the encryption codes to your platform, which he is refusing to do. The next person that's going to be imprisoned and targeted is Elon Musk. People are saying all over, we don't like him, we don't like this. Let me tell you something now, right? I have seen, and I've been doing this a long time, I witness who gets taken down off the platforms, I witness who takes control of the platforms, and I analyse it. And from what I've analysed, we are probably in the most dangerous situation we have ever been in, at least for 150 years. And the only people out there that are doing anything about it is us. The only people. The British are the people that are the problem. And once the people understand and come together, all colours, all religions, come together and unite against them, they are the problem. So, anyone else got any questions? Don't forget, I've got wind in my ear and I'm hard of hearing. Got one ear in 8 in and one ear in 8 out.
Excuse me guys, I'm going to change please.
Who are the British? That'd probably take me about 2 hours to explain it. But the simplest thing to say about who the British are, a lot of people understand it goes back to the East India Company. It's about corporisation. It is literally about a different type of system. If you really want to know where the British come from, it goes back much further. It goes back to the Roman times, believe it or not.
Further.
I'll tell you what, I'll say it anyway. Our biggest problem with the British system was in 1858, and they brought something in called the Jews Relief Act. And people always say to me, now you're being an anti-Semite. And I'll say, no, I'm not. I'm just telling you the truth. And the truth is, less than 3 years after they brought that act in, the Jews Relief Act of 1858 basically removed the Christian oath system and allowed Jewish people to become members of Parliament and become part of our oath system. And when they did that, 3 years later, guess what happened? The first MP, Jewish, elected, his name was Rothschild. So the Rothschilds then got elected, and as they got elected, again from the Jewish Relief Act, within 9 years, they had repealed part of the English Bill of Rights, Section 3, and And then in 1947, after the Second World War, after we'd fought for this so-called British Empire, then they repealed sections, the top part and the bottom part of Section 2 of the English Bill of Rights, which, by the way, was completely unlawful. It is still the English Bill of Rights intact, but no one knows that they did that. We've reverse engineered and looked at everything that they've done over the best part of 200 years. And what you can see is that them people, and when I say them people, I mean the British establishment, the ruling class, whatever you want to describe them as, but the people, one of the other things that they did as well was something called the Enclosures Act. And people don't understand that the Enclosures Act was brought in to take you off the common land. Because on the common land, none of you had to pay rent. You could grow food, you could live on it without paying the lords or the crown any money. It was our land. And therefore you could survive
Yes,
as a
in there,
family.
just seeing the text, the comments, man.
Enclosures
We got
Act,
people.
in effect, and the first time it came out I think was 1783. Why did they do it? Because they needed to force the peasantry into the cities, and it was in effect, you became a wage slave. Because you couldn't grow your own food, you had to work for a factory or a mill or someone else. You had to do something to get money in the city. But they'd taken you off the land, and then the people who captured the land were the lords, and they was given special privileges by the crown. That's what people are not seeing. And in effect, it was the prerequisite to 15-minute cities. Everything you're seeing, nothing is new under the sun. And that's the major point that we're getting across here. All you've got to do is look at the archives. All you need to do is look at the real history, not the history that you're being taught in universities, not the history that you're being taught by Marxists in the current institutional educational system. There's an old saying, and it's a true saying, if you send your children to a Roman school, don't be surprised when your children come back supporting Caesar. And it's a never truer saying, right? So what you're seeing is state indoctrination, taking your rights, taking them bit by bit, which is what Marxism does. And Marxism and communism and fascism are all the same thing. It's an authoritarian regime, and that has never ever benefited the people, and especially the English. We're a different class of people. We do not tolerate what they are doing now. So we need passive resistance all over the country. Because it's getting windy and a bit cold, what I'm going to say. Any other quick questions from anyone? Don't think so. Go on. Right, so the question is, because they've removed parts of, and they've moved other parts of our Constitution, parts of the English Bill of Rights, does it make it ultra-vires? In other words, is it null and void? And the answer to that is yes, but the people need to understand that it's happened. By the way, they've lied to us, and they actually hid it in legislation. They didn't tell the people that they was doing that. So is it null and void? Yes, it is. Why is it null and void? Because the Convention Parliament is the Parliament that enacted the English Bill of Rights. The Convention Parliament is not, in law, what's known as an ordinary Parliament. So an ordinary Parliament can't bind the next successor. A Convention Parliament can and does. And the Convention Parliament clearly stated in the English Bill of Rights under Section 2 that you cannot change any of these rights once the Convention Parliament has been prorogued. They told everyone, it's all in writing, you can go and see the archives, and they tell people, once we close this Parliament and we go into the next Parliament, which will be an ordinary Parliament, these rights are inalienable rights. You can never take them away, right? And it was all agreed. Lord John Somers, who was the framer of the English Bill of Rights, by the way, was also a partial framer of the Act of Settlement, and the Act of Settlement is just as important as the English Bill of Rights. And people don't realise how powerful our Constitution is. What we need to do is enforce it, and we need the people to enforce it. And with the first stage of that is passive resistance in every city, in every town in England. Because it is England that is under attack from all sides. So again, I'm going to finish there, and hopefully, and I want to say to everyone, thank you for coming. I'll try and answer this without actually going through the notes on it. So the English Bill of Rights passes on to the heiress body, and it gives a lineage. The problem that you've got with the Bill of Rights, which is why they come out with the Act of Settlement, the Act of Settlement was supportive of the English Bill of Rights. If you go and read the original Act of Settlement, it backed up the English Bill of Rights. The English Bill of Rights didn't take away the power of the monarch. What it did was protected you if the monarchy was to dispense with laws or make its own laws. What Parliament was saying is you can't do that because the body of the people will tell you you can't. And this is the important thing. If you actually read the English Bill of Rights, it tells you it can be adjudged. What that means is that the judiciary was independent. So again, what backs up the fact that there is a hereditary monarchy is the Act of Settlement. When you go into the detail, and I'm talking about, let me just make sure I'm clear on this, right? Never go and look on the internet, and especially at government websites, at legislation. Always go and look at the archive and the original document. Because it's not been flashed over, it's not been edited, it's not been repealed, and you will see, and you can see the commentary of the time. So there's something else about the English Bill of Rights everyone should, it's not just the English Bill of Rights, it was a Declaration of Rights. And before that, just before that, literally November the 5th, 1688, when the Prince of Orange landed in Brixton, in Devon, he also read out what's known as the Declaration of Reasons. And what people don't know is there was 3,000 Englishmen on them ships, fully armed. And they was asked, so they basically went to Holland, they waited for the right time, they procured the ships and the army to come here. The actual army was on its way to the north of England. It was the north of England that was taking England back. Strong winds at the time literally pushed them, there was a massive storm, and it pushed them into Brixton and into Torquay Harbour. And once that happened, they had to land because they had to get thousands of horses, thousands of men off the ships. So when you realise, by the way, if I remember rightly, and I'll have to go through my memories for this, there was a particular port where our fleet was, and the commander of the Admiral basically turned around to all the ship's captains of our fleet and said, I want you to give chase to the Dutch ships, and all of the captains turned their backs on the Admiral. So they turned their back and they refused the order. And that's one of the first times in history that's ever happened with the Royal Navy. And by the way, the reason why the military haven't got a royal title is because they stuck their middle finger up at our monarchy and said, no, we're going with the other people, they're with us. So the 3,000 that come over from Holland were actually part of the core British contingent of our military to take England back. Right? what we need is to see that again. That's it, I think. Everyone's looking, everyone okay with that? Thank you very much. So again, I'm going to say to everyone, my old way over there, hey, this is my favourite little dog and all. I just want to say to everyone, thank you for attending. Many people come from all over the country. There's people staying in hotels locally. Again, we're an online group with thousands of supporters. Again, the Rumble channel is slowly building. There's something like 6,500, nearly 8,000 on Twitter again now. If you go back through my past, you can see why I was banned. The last thing I will say to you is don't forget the main censors for Facebook are Sadiq Clegg. Everyone remember him? Right, he now resides in the United States of America and he is in charge of censorship on Facebook. Don't forget the main censorship.
I can't shield the mic. I didn't expect to be doing a live stream. I've only done a live stream because my camera ran out of memory, so I thought, fuck it, go live.
The British regime and the British establishment are. And they are taking all our rights. So that's it. So again, we're just going to show respect for these people who died at the hands of the British regime, unarmed, and they were simply working class people asking for the vote or demanding the vote. And the next thing that they was going to do was make a declaration not to pay your taxes. And they was hacked down and murdered, men, women, and children. And cavalry charge. So that's what this monument stands for. If you look at the top, it's actually a clever monument in the way that it's designed. Because it points to different times in history in different countries where the same tyranny has been applied. And when you look around here and you understand, again, what these people died for, they died for your vote. So never not vote. You must always vote, even if you write on your ballot. By law, it is counted. If you go and have a look at Hansard, you will see many debates on it. By law, it must be counted. So you write on that ballot, quite simply, and I've got a leaflet on me that shows it. Very good. Ballot form, I do not consent, Ashby versus White, God bless England. Right? You can write what you like on it, but basically, as soon as you write I do not consent, you're telling them that you're referring to the English constitutional law, Ashby versus White, 1703, which means the judge actually said you can only tax people and you can only make laws that govern them if they consent. We are governed by consent. As soon as we withdraw our consent, it's all over for them. So the more of us stand up passively against this regime, the more likely we're going to win. But we need to get the message out, especially to young people. So if you don't, so this is an important point, and the gentleman's just brought it up. If you do not vote, so 40% of the population this time round didn't vote at all, right? This current Marxist government has got somewhere in the region of 15 to 18%. That's nowhere near a mandate for the people, right? And the way Marxist and communists work is they demoralise the people, and that's exactly what they've done. So all of our ancestors that fought and died for your vote, including in wars, including these people that stood up against the British regime and demanded a vote for the working people. Prior to that, you didn't have one. It's really important that people understand when you don't vote, it is the equivalent of tacit agreement in law. What does that mean? It means I'm not voting, I don't care who governs me. That's what it means. And when you don't vote, that's what you're doing. The 40% that didn't vote have lent their vote to the Marxists that are in control now. So they say we have got a vote, we have got a mandate, because the people who didn't vote effectively voted for us. That's the way the system works. The first past the post system is this. As soon as you're I do not consent, ballots are increased above everyone else in that election. This is why it's really important. Anyone who's been to account and been a candidate, as I was in Chorley, not far from here, and got 1,007 votes, right? So people were listening. The BBC wouldn't allow our emblem on their website. Why? Because it's got the Christian cross on it. It's as simple as that. We're the English Constitution Party, the English Constitution Society, and by the way, some of you may or may not be pleased at this. We're also talking about the National Union of Pensioners. Right, so again, for a small fee, and it's only going to be a small fee, possibly £1 a year, but there's 12 million pensioners and their families, because of what this Marxist lot are doing now, is taking, everyone's feeling a bit cold now. Well, how do you think pensioners feel in the winter when they've got and they've grafted all their lives and they get nothing? So that's one of the things that we're actually looking at. So again, unless there's any other questions, I don't know where we're going to go, but I think we're going to the pub. I'm really grateful for everyone turning up. Is there a pub over there? Someone's just pointing me towards a pub. So we look like we're going to the pub. So the last thing I will say is God bless everyone that's attended today. God bless England. Remember, we're in serious problems, but we will win. We are winning. If we weren't winning, you wouldn't see the panic extremes that they are doing today, right? You wouldn't be seeing any of that unless we're winning. And we are winning. But we need to keep pushing it and get, especially the message out on social media. And by the way, people, when they take down the internet, and they will, don't panic, right? Because it just means that we're winning. And we must organise, and we must go for passive resistance. That's it.
Right, I'm gone now, folks. That's it. Got right, you end this shit.